More cuts. Utica Community Schools continues to make program cuts, and the end may not be near. And another bill is on the move in Lansing, and this one may affect your children in school. Plus, a new transit system may be in the works for Metro Detroit. We get the reaction from local officials on this week's Political Corner. All these stories plus much more on this edition of Shelby This Week. I'm Nick Buckler in for Kelly Kasuda. Topping our news today, budget cuts at Utica Community Schools have some parents wondering, should cuts start in the classroom or in the boardroom? Charlie Cadato joins us now with more on what's on the chopping block.
Well, Nick, we first told you about cuts to Utica's English as a second language program. Just this week, we're learning about other possible cutbacks, including some programs that could be gone by the next school year. It's the end of the school year, and districts across the state are deciding what budgets will look like next year. But here at Utica Community Schools, budget cuts are raising some eyebrows. Where should cuts start? At the state's second largest school district.
It's probably not the right place to make cuts.
Last week, we told you about massive cuts to the English language program, aimed to help students who need extra help learning the language. But they're not the only ones angry.
It is absolutely backwards.
Noelle O'Neill is a former teacher and a parent in the district. She says she moved to Shelby Township because of the schools, but now she's disappointed.
The reputation is definitely tanking. I've already spoken to several parents at the elementary level who are seriously considering moving to Bloomfield Hills or Troy, because they know that they value education and they value class size.
The first wave of cuts were approved back in March. They include the Early College Macomb program, which allowed students to earn college credit while still in high school. The district also reduced the budget in the Mandarin Chinese program. And just recently, cuts to that English as a second language program, hoping to save the district about $2 million.
I believe they should even improve it. No cut the budget.
Back in February, I sat down with Stephanie Egan, Assistant Superintendent for Business and Finance. At the time, she said the district would see a decline of about 450 students, and that's by the fall of 2016. So in the next 5 years, can we expect more schools to close?
I'm not really prepared to report that, but certainly anything's possible, and we'll continue to study that.
Yep, and teacher cuts?
Again, I don't really want to say teacher cuts because we're really studying it, and some of that natural attrition that occurs through retirement and so forth offsets some of the adjustments that we need to make. But that's part of our normal process.
But O'Neill says this normal process could be dealt with differently. She believes budget cuts should start in the boardroom, not in the classroom.
It sounds like excuses to me. I can't even imagine that our enrollment is down so very much that we have to sacrifice things like teacher-student ratio.
And so that's why some parents are questioning where the money is being spent. In April, we told you about a brand new virtual reality program at one Utica elementary school. The district spent $460,000 on that program, mostly from a bond issue.
Out of the general fund, we're using about $50,000 for the curricular materials, but you can see the students learning.
The superintendent told me the program could actually expand, despite calls for cuts.
Is that where our tax dollars should be going to, or should it be going to classroom teachers and programs?
And Nick, we just received a press release this week from Moody's Investors Service. That's a credit rating agency, and they say because of the declining enrollment, the bond rating at Utica schools has seen a 3-step downgrade. So certainly big news for a big school district.
All right, Charlie, thank you for your report. Shelby Township officials were on hand this week to accept the $1,000 donation from last month's Drug Take-Back Challenge.
Dominic, I want to thank you for coming here to the Shelby Township Police Department to give Police Chief Shelby a check for $1,000, and we know that Don Francisco is a great partner in our DARE program, and we want to thank you for all the great work you do in supporting the Police Department DARE program.
Thank you very much for your support and the support of Don Francesco.
No problem.
Thank you. We're very
148 pounds of prescription drugs were turned in for the month of May, almost tripling their average monthly intake. And just because the challenge is over doesn't mean you can't turn in any unused medications. The pill drop box remains in the lobby of the police department for 24/7 drop-offs. We first brought you the story about the evacuation of Mallow Junior High last week on our Facebook page. 5 students were taken into custody after first responders discovered 2 smoke bombs the size of soda cans in the school's cafeteria.
If they planned it, it's not funny. Bad things happen, and it's not going to be tolerated.
We received a lot of feedback to our post on Facebook about the prank. Some see it as kids being kids, others aren't seeing the humor. Now we want to hear from you. Let us know what you think on our Facebook page. Just search Shelby TV and leave us a comment. Students at Dakota and Chippewa Valley High School are getting recognition after building a house for the Macomb County Habitat for Humanity. Over 60 students in the construction trades program build a house each year. On top of learning skills that are high in demand, they are helping a great cause. For more information on the Habitat for Humanity and how you can help, visit macombhabitat.org. There are 22 places of worship here in Shelby Township, and the police department is partnering with all of them. Each church and congregation is assigned one officer from Shelby PD. That liaison is there for church leaders to communicate with via email, phone, or face-to-face on non-emergency matters.
Within 2 days, everybody had volunteered for a church. I got news for you. Not many people volunteer to do a lot of things in any walk of life.
This will help foster a strong partnership between the police and the community. We first told you about a civics test bill back in April, and now it's gaining traction. The Michigan House of Representatives approved Representative Peter Lucido's bill to amend school codes requiring students to pass a civics test similar to the naturalization test used by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Representative Lucido says he wants students to know more about the American civics and government than about a fast food dollar menu. The civics test would give students credit in high school civics courses, but the grade on the test would not affect their GPA. The House bill now moves to Senate for consideration. With the local election less than 2 months away, Shelby TV is keeping you up to date with what local and countywide candidates are up to. Charlie Cadotto rejoins us now for this week's Political Corner. Charlie?
Nick, thank you. Michigan's movers and shakers gathered at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island this past week for this year's Mackinac Policy Conference. The conference draws hundreds of business and political leaders, many from right here in Macomb County, and there was a lot of talk about local issues, including what some people are calling a need for better public transportation. Just this week, the Regional Transit Authority of Southeast Michigan unveiled a plan aiming to connect 4 counties. That's Macomb, Oakland, Wayne, and Washtenaw. The plan would cost $4.6 billion and would fund new rapid transit lines throughout the region. Supporters say it would provide better transportation for commuters coming in and out of work. But the opposition questions the cost and the actual need. Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle says he supports the transit plan, although he admits it's a hard sell. He spoke to us over the phone from Mackinac.
I actually am extremely concerned about us not having a regional transit plan. So I was very supportive of this creation. Now moving forward with the plan, which is about to be kind of given in detail to the public, is what I'm actually very hopeful for, meaning that they're going to be able to express to the public the need for regional transit, because we do.
And by the way, one of those proposed transit stops would be at 23 Mile and Van Dyke. The plan would cost the average homeowner about $95 per year, and the proposal could come before voters in November. That's this week's Political Corner. Nick, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Charlie. Remember, the local election is August 2nd, so don't forget to get out and vote. Coming up on Shelby this week, cable prices are on the rise. We'll tell you which provider is hiking their rates. And Olympic athletes are setting their sights on Shelby Township. We have the details next.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Diagnosed with diabetes. It's something no parent wants to hear. Those first months learning and dealing with the disease can be difficult, but a local high school student is trying to make the diagnosis a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting journey. it is a very personal issue for me.
We first introduced you to Utica High School senior Karina Wilcock last January. At the time, the overachiever was working on her senior project, which required 24 hours of community service work.
It's come a long way, and it's grown a lot bigger than I originally intended.
So big that Karina spent her spare time senior year making these diabetic care kits.
In the bags we have the book that I made. It's about him being diagnosed, and then I figured that to go along with that, the animal would be fitting if I had a panther in there, so that's in there. And then I have a little doctor's kit for the kids to kind of interact with the animal.
Not just interact, but learn how an insulin pump works, for example, right on that stuffed animal.
You kind of just hold it there.
You see, Karina has type 1 diabetes, diagnosed at just 22 months old. As you can imagine, the average 2-year-old doesn't want to be taking insulin shots, unless they've got a friend right by their side. This is Seabear.
I brought it everywhere. I brought it to all my doctor's appointments, so even my doctors know, oh, where's Seabear kind of thing.
And this is her doctor, Bernard Degnan at Royal Oaks Beaumont Hospital.
We have probably one new diabetic every week.
This week, Karina dropped off 40 kits at the same hospital where she was first diagnosed. A pretty special day to be back, for good reason.
It's one thing for a doctor to tell them what to expect. More than anything, they want another kid to be able to tell them what to expect.
Thanks to the community, Karina collected more than $3,000 and used that money to make the kits. Needless to say, Karina went well above the required community service hours.
I haven't actually counted the hours, but it's clearly gone a lot farther than that. I kind of lost track after a while.
And by the way, that first delivery was only the start. Karina hopes to give 130 kids those kits. For Shelby This Week, I'm Charlie Codotto.
The summer is filled with lots of opportunities to be outside, like 5K and 10K races. This is video from last year's Go for the Gold race. The annual event will be held this year on Saturday, July 16th at Riverbends Park in Shelby Township. All proceeds go to the Special Olympics. For more information and online registration, head to www.goforthegoldraces.com. The Summer Olympics are about 2 months away, and athletes from across the country are getting ready to head to Brazil. But there are Olympic athletes in training closer to home as well, but they're just a tad bit older. Our own Arthur Schink tells us all about the Olympic events that are in the making right here in Shelby Township.
Coming up in June, the Shelby Township Senior Center will be hosting one of its premier events of the summer, the Senior Fun Olympics, where for years the Senior Center has created a stage for local seniors to gather for good food, fun, and friendly competition.
It's been a great event for us. I know we were in at least our 15th year, and it's a great opportunity for us to get outside, get to one of our beautiful parks, which is Riverbends Park, and enjoy the outdoors and do some fun things at the same time.
And this year's Senior Olympics will see a few changes in some of the events, and they sound pretty fun.
We have adapted our favorite dice game of Yahtzee into Yardzy, and we've got that. We've got a new beanbag toss that we're doing, still the same old favorites, so still the football throw and the baseball throw and basketball and that kind of thing. Everything is fun. We're looking to have a good time rather than be the greatest athlete in the park that day.
It's not just the competition that creates these huge crowds. I'm sure longtime event sponsor Outback Steakhouse of Shelby Township helped keep the Senior Olympians attending year after year. But it also takes the hard work of many to bring it all together for this grand event.
This is a big event for us to put together outside. The Parks and Recreation Department always does a wonderful job of getting everything together, and again, hoping for wonderful weather that we will ask for and hopefully get. And the police department has been involved as many years as I've been here, and it's nice to have them participate with the community, and good opportunity for people to meet them and see that they're real people just like us.
So get ready for this year's Senior Fun Olympics at Riverbends Park. It will be held on June 22nd at 10 a.m. The cost is $2 per person, and pre-registration is required. You can call 586-739-7540 for more information. I'm Arthur Schink reporting for Shelby This Week.
Buying local produce just got a little cheaper for senior citizens. Michigan residents 60 years and older may be eligible for a $20 coupon on Michigan-grown produce. To qualify for the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program, residents must have a total household income of 185% of the poverty level or less. It runs until October 31st, so you have some time to apply. Just head to www.michigan.gov/marketfresh or call 517-373-8230. Residents who subscribe to WOW take a close look. In order to keep up with licensing fees the company pays to cable and broadcast networks, it's raising your prices for services. 2-product cable bundles will see a $5 to $10 increase. 3-product cable bundles will see a $6 to $11 hike. Customers with cable services a la carte will receive monthly increases as well, which range from $4 to more than $7. You'll see these rate adjustments on next month's billing cycle. All customers will be notified by a mailed letter on how their bill will be affected. Shelby Township is reaching out to local youth and trying to bring in the older generation with its social media campaign, Shelby Selfies. The community relations intern Elena created the campaign featured on the popular app Instagram. Instagram draws hundreds of millions of views in every day, but most are under the age of 25. So she wants to reach out to the youth of Shelby Township, but also bring in those not even on the app yet.
We thought of this campaign idea to try and engage people to pay attention to our Instagram, and eventually they'll pay attention to Shelby Township more, and it just kind of like unites the community in a way. So
we told you last week about this month's Shelby Selfie theme of trees, and for Elena, it wasn't hard to brainstorm that idea.
Well, selfies are huge, and everybody loves trees, and it's outdoorsy, it's warm, it's nice outside, and it'll get people just outside and looking around at the beautiful scenery we have around here.
If you want to get involved in the fun, just take a picture with your favorite tree in the township with the hashtag ShelbySelfie. Then tag the township's official Instagram account shown here. Elena's goal is to get 100 selfies by the end of June. We asked her what next month's theme will be, and she said the topic is a secret, but it will have something to do with the 4th of July. Still ahead, it's playoff time for high school spring sports. We have highlights from last week's action. Plus, the USDA has important information about meat you may be eating. Stay tuned.
We need a claim number?
When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving. We're here to help.
The school year is quickly coming to an end, which means the same holds true for soccer season. Shelby TV's Andrew Selski breaks down the action from this week's district playoffs.
District semifinals as Utica takes on Eisenhower. After a scoreless first half, 7 minutes into the second. Shannon Casey over the outstretched fingers of Bridget Spagnolo, and the score is 1-0. 16 minutes remaining. Sophia Simopoulos with a free kick. Off the head of Sierra Von Zitwitz and in the back of the net to make it 1-1. Corner for Eisenhower, Gabriella Jodis. Into the box, Shannon Casey has it. And Riley Tanger squeaks it by the Utica goalkeeper. That would push the Eagles onto the district finals with a score of 2-1.
Congratulations to the Eagles moving on.
And Eisenhower would take their 20-0 record in to face the Stony Creek Cougars. Great pass by Gabriella Jodis. Header by Lauren DeBow. Into the second half, corner for Stony Creek. Emily Solik. Off the hands of the goalkeeper, and they're up 1-0. Fast break, Taylor Paradosky. The goalkeeper gets a piece, but trickles into the back of the net. Goal! And the score is 2-0, Stony Creek Cougars. Another corner for Emily Solek. Into the box. Bounces around for a bit. Finally ending up on the foot of Isabella Langouche. And that will be the nail in the coffin for the Eisenhower Eagles. Final score in the district finals. Stony Creek Cougars 3, Eisenhower Eagles 0.
It's easy to look past labels when buying food, but our Dan Myers tells us why you should pay a little closer attention to them when buying certain meats.
It's grilling season, which means it's time to go steak shopping. Recently, the USDA made labeling meat that has been mechanically tenderized a requirement on the packaging. I met up with Chef Angelo from Shelby Township's own Vincent Joe's to explain to us why it's safer to stay away from that type of meat and also be aware of what you're shopping for. Mechanical tenderizing means the beef has been punctured with blades or needles to break down the muscle fibers and make it easier to chew. So you may be paying more for less.
And you're going to see this on all types of meat. You know, it might only look like it's select, but now that they tenderize it, it cuts just like a choice.
Tenderizing can be helpful if you're on a budget, but unfortunately it can be dangerous with little regard for the consumer.
Negative effects of tenderizing is if they don't clean the blades. If those blades aren't clean, if it's not a pristine machine, bacteria builds up real quickly. So you got to think about if you have one piece of meat that's contaminated with E. coli out of all that, it now penetrates not only that piece of meat, but every other piece of meat from there on out. It's just a quick way to make a quick buck for the vendor or for a store.
Bigger retail stores are more at risk to selling tainted meat. Chef Angelo explains some signs to look for when purchasing steaks.
But always ask the people behind the counter, your butcher and your meat department staff. And so if you don't see a butcher, it's one sign. If you see a price of something and it's too good to be true, most likely it's too good to be true for a reason. Shortcuts really get you nowhere in this line of work.
Dan joins us now in studio. Dan, are there any places in the area that we don't have to worry about seeing this label?
Yeah, absolutely. Our very own Vincent Joe's actually has that, and they pride themselves on being local with their products. And I do want to thank Chef Angelo for all his work in this piece also.
He always does great work for us, and anytime we ask him for anything. But kind of what I'm taking from this piece is they're trying to make more out of lesser qualities.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, you only get a certain size, great piece of meat, and they want to capitalize on this by infusing them with whether it's glue or the food glue, or they just beat it so much that it actually just makes it into a nicer piece of meat, which makes it chewier. That's all it really does.
So we'll definitely keep an eye on these labels in the future. Thanks, Dan.
No problem.
On this field, baseball isn't just being played, but dreams are coming true. And for one Shelby Junior High student, that will happen later this month.
Oh, say, can you see?
7th grader Bella Arini is practicing for her big national anthem debut at Jimmy John's Field. Dozens of people came out for auditions, and she was one of them, after being encouraged by her vocal teacher to try to take a risk and try out. And she worked through her nerves to have a stellar audition.
Well, I really just before I audition, I really focus and practice and make sure everything's perfect. Once I get up there, it's I kind of forget it all and just try to do my best and everything. And the best part was they gave me a little smile at the end, so I thought that was a good sign.
And for a girl who's involved with her church band, school honors choir, and singing in community theater, singing for others is her one true passion in life.
Like this, the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, hallelujah. It's a great opportunity to show my talent and express what I really like to do. So I just love singing because it's just really, I enjoy it a lot. It's just I don't know, a part of me, I can, when I sing, somebody knows my personality.
Bella will sing the national anthem for the United Shores Baseball League in Utica on June 17th. Break a leg, Bella. That's it for us here at Shelby this week. You can watch us all the time on our Facebook page. Just search Shelby TV. We'll leave you now with pictures from the United Shores Baseball League's inaugural game. Thanks for watching.